We're living in a time where there is a lot of bad news. All you have to do is turn on the radio, and for me, it's a few seconds and I'm about ready to turn it off. But I have some really encouraging news that I want to share with you tonight. We put out an appeal less than 2 weeks ago about the great need in Malawi of thousands of families that are going to bed hungry in the Church of God. There are 61 congregations there, well over 4,000 families, but 1,800 of those families are suffering critically right now because of lack of maize. And since that appeal 2 weeks ago, the good news is that through your sacrifice and through the working of God, that need has been met at the moment. We have been able to send funds this week to buy a bag of maize for a little over 2,000 families. So I have hardly had time to do anything else the last 2 weeks except to do accounting. But it is a good problem. Thank you all so much for assisting. The need is not over. We were just hitting those that were most critical. We were addressing those needs, and based upon experience of years of these things happening in Malawi, probably in a month we're going to be sending more funds to minister to more people that it wasn't as critical right now, and also in a month they're going to have eaten up their maize. So this need is going to be continuing towards the end of March into April, depending on what happens with the crops in Malawi. But I didn't want to stress so much in this little clip how much the need is, but I will just say in the last 2 weeks that there has been over $42,000 come in. We have sent over 33,000 of that to date. But the need is still there, so if you still have a burden, your sacrifice is not going to be in vain. It will be directly feeding the hungry. 100% of this money is going to feed the people. We are having to buy transportation costs, and I plan to give a small donation to those that are working on the ground in Malawi, but there is no overhead in what's being sent in to us. But thank you all so much. I've just been overwhelmed. I told Renee it almost restores my faith in humanity. But my faith is in redeemed humanity. And I know there have been a lot of sacrifices from some congregations, from people, from families, couples, and children. My heart was touched when we received offerings from children that could have spent it on themselves, but they wanted to help someone. And I've been putting on a lot of the receipts. It's making a practical difference in the lives of families that have been going to bed hungry. And you literally are putting food in their mouth. So thank you all so much for what you have done. The sacrifices, if the Lord leads you in the next month or two to still send in, it's not in vain because the need is still there. But that initial need has been met. So God bless all of you. If you have not received a receipt, and you sent something in and it's been a few days and you haven't received a receipt, please let us know, because it could be an old email address we had, or sometimes old email addresses are used for PayPal that you don't ever check. So if you need a receipt or did not receive a thank you, please let us know, and thank you very much for your sacrifice.